How's it going, guys? And welcome back to Blade HQ. Today we have a really cool episode. I'm here with Rikki Hernandez, or as you guys know him, Captain Rikki. And I have the keys to the storefront, and we're gonna take you knife shopping.
I'm surprised they gave you the keys, honestly.
Hey, there's trust around here, Rikki. Come on.
I can't be trusted, and there's a lot of cool stuff in here, so I'm ready for it.
Rikki, you've been in the knife industry for a while. You do YouTube, Instagram, you work with makers, you work with brands, influencers. What has that been like?
It's been super fun. So I've had the pleasure of doing a little bit of everything. I've been in the bodybuilding world, I've been in the wildlife world, and through a bunch of really random events that led me to EDC. And I got really lucky to have people like Ben Peterson from NAFS and Joseph Vero who kind of gave me a break. And most recently I was working with Best Damn EDC, and that's kind of opened up so many new opportunities to work with so many different makers and brands. So I personally enjoy getting to know a lot of those people, and then collecting knives is almost like an extension of that. So it's been super fun.
That is cool. How do you think those experiences have shaped the kind of knives you're into?
Probably in the fact that I go very aesthetics first.
You're bougie.
I am bougie, but I'm also, like, at the end of the day, my career as a videographer doesn't involve me hard using a bunch of my knives. Like, I'm cutting Amazon boxes.
Well, that's the honest truth.
Yeah.
A lot of us here at Blade HQ don't use our knives either, so we'll just lay it out for you guys.
Yeah, so I've made fun of myself a ton on the fact that I don't use my knives the way people think I should be.
Rikki, you told me earlier the Kershaw Clash was the first knife you ever bought. Lend me some insight as to why you picked that one.
Okay, so when I first started diving into EDC, I was watching a lot of Peter McKinnon stuff. And I didn't realize that there was like more knife brands out there because I was so used to going to Walmart and like getting a Buck or getting a Gerber or something like that. So I went on Amazon. I looked up EDC knife, sorted from lowest price to highest, and I found this Kershaw Clash. And it's really funny because I didn't know it was spring assisted. I didn't realize it was a Canonian design. I literally knew nothing, like no specs.
Well, it's your first knife.
Right? So I got the knife in, and it was all of like, I can't remember if it was like maybe $36 or $50, somewhere around there. And that knife has a funny, like kind of sentimental story to me now because it was the first knife that I got that was Ken Onion. I now know Ken Onion. I've gotten to meet him and chat with him and work with him. So it's so cool that like I got this like full circle moment with that knife. But the Kershaw Clash was it. I thought it was the coolest thing I ever got too.
So the Kershaw Clash, right, it's where you all started. What would you say was the most uncomfortable amount of money you've spent on a knife since then?
There's like this weird blur because it went from Kershaw Clash to like a giant mouse, which was still like not super expensive. And then I learned of Chris Reeve. And
you
that
got stuck in that trap.
Well, everybody was posting Sebenzas and how great Chris Reeve was, and I was like, okay, all right. But somewhere along the way, I've learned of ProTech too. And my buddy Will had a Mordax, and he was like, you have to get this knife, like it's the smoothest button lock.
I mean, fantastic knife.
So the ProTech Mordax was my first ProTech ever. It was my first experience with a button lock. And I fell in love with it. So it was a pretty like wild jump to me, at least, like $60, 150, 350 to and some change, I think, at the time.
Going from, you know, the Clash to now these, and then now you have a YouTube channel and all of this stuff going on. You're seeing opinions, you have influencers you're talking to. How has your knife taste evolved from these three knives we just talked about to now, after knowing everything?
It's gotten more expensive.
Is it worse?
It's gotten
You're just
so
going
expensive.
deeper into a grave.
Oh my God. So I started this year, I really wanted to take time to appreciate smaller makers and custom knife makers.
Which is cool.
Because I really enjoy my production stuff, but there is this sort of charm and soul that you really can only find in a custom knife. And there's also this certain price point that you'll never get below in a custom knife too.
You're just trapping yourself, Rikki. Come on. Blink twice if you need help.
So I mean, it's evolved a ton though, because there's people like Shane from Scorpion 6. I don't know if you're familiar with this work. Incredibly cool knives and very unique, but they're very like tech mech kind of situation.
I love that.
But then I'll also like stuff from like my buddy Tom, Knives by Nude, you know him.
Oh my God, Tom's great. His knives are great.
Exactly, and he's more like vintage bushcraft fixed blade. So I would say that I'm in the kind of like higher end the higher end realm of EDC right now. And I'm not mad about it. And I still love my production stuff. You know, for me the production stuff is awesome because it allows people like Sean Ashmore, people like Taylor Martin and Ben Peterson, like to kind of be able to execute these ideas that they have in a grander scale, so like people like you and I can afford their stuff.
For sure.
So I definitely still love my production stuff, but I think after so many years of just strictly staying in the production realm, I kind of wanted to take a step into the custom side of things, and it's been super fun.
Yeah, it is cool. And I will say you have a few collaborations, right?
Yes.
Mainly notably with Auxiliary.
Yes.
With Michael, you guys have a few knives together.
Yes.
How has that kind of maybe rewired your brain to be a part of that process of like helping him almost design something and knowing what goes into it versus just buying the knives?
Yeah, I'll give him all the credit because to be fair, Michael and I had a collab with Tom, Knives by Nuge as well.
Yeah.
They already had great designs.
For
I
sure.
was just kind of like, hey, what if we like maybe use this material or that material?
Like colors and variations.
Yeah, but it's been super fun because it's kind of allowed me to express my creativity in a different way.
Yeah.
I don't see myself drawing or designing a knife anytime soon. I'd really like to learn how to make them and learn how to draw them in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a super fun process to collaborate with those guys and just kind of bring my style to something that they've made.
Rikki, we've kind of moved our way over here towards Buck, Kaiser, CRKT, great brands.
Yep.
Tell me a bit about Buck. I know you said you own one. What's the story behind that one?
So the very first knife that I got that was gifted to me was a Buck 110. My dad gave it to me. It was in rough shape. It had no tip, practically no edge.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and then I sent it over to our friends at Worksharp. They cleaned it up for me, and now I don't use it. I kind of just keep it as like a sentimental piece. It's kind of what kind of started it all, essentially. I've owned, I think it's like the 112. This is a 119. So it's not the same one. I'm pretty positive it's the 112 or the 102, something along those lines.
The bigger one?
Yeah, and then most recently I had a mini, sorry, you're gonna hold all these knives.
Great.
I had a,
oh, the Range Elite.
yeah,
These
Buck
are cool.
sent one of these over. I have the black aluminum handle one, and this is really nice. Like, what a fun little folder with a nice little crossbar lock.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my experience. I've kind of had a little bit of like the old school Buck, and now I'm checking out the new school
More
stuff.
modern take. Yeah, that's very cool.
But there's a lot in here I've never handled or never even heard of.
Yeah, I mean, you've kind of covered your bases, to be honest, at least from my understanding of Buck. I think also your story of your dad giving it to you is like one of the most traditional stories of Buck because, you know, as they always say, they want it to be deeply rooted in tradition and it's something you can hand off to other generations. And I think that's super cool. All right, Rikki, we're now at Kaiser, which you told me you really only know one of the knives in this cabinet.
Yep. I've only ever owned one of the knives in this cabinet.
The original two, right?
Yeah.
Which we get the fun Christmas version
here. Oh,
here.
cute. Oh, yeah, I didn't see this one. Nice.
Yeah.
This one's fancy.
It is cool. So what I love about Kaiser is they're very modern, right? They use a lot of updated locking mechanisms, designs, you know, just the way the knife looks, I think lends a hand to it being very modern. And what I want to ask you though, in terms of modern, is there a trend in the knife industry that you maybe aren't fully in love with, whether it's a locking mechanism, a thumb stud, a pocket clip, anything like that?
I'm gonna go with a two-parter for this.
Okay.
For mechanism, it's probably the crossbar lock.
Yeah.
I think at this point we're kind of seeing the crossbar lock on everything.
Yeah, everyone is doing it.
For me, like it's not that I hate it. I just think that it's a mechanism that's hard to get right.
Yeah, it is. It's
in my opinion, it should be really snappy and easy to deploy, and sometimes it can get a little mushy in some of the knives that I've handled.
Yeah. I
I see button locks kind of going the same direction.
Right.
There's a lot of knives that have button locks now, and I'm a fan of variety, but I think it's just a matter of like execution. And I think you might run into that in some of the more like budget stuff, right? Because you're trying to make a knife that's affordable for so many people.
Absolutely.
The second part of that equation is using MagnaCut on everything.
Okay.
And this is just like my personal take on it because I'm not hard using a lot of my knives, so I just don't see the value of MagnaCut, especially in like the collector's realm. But I do see the resurgence of like S35VN and like M390 again. So like, I don't know, it feels kind of cyclical. Like we had MagnaCut and it was like the latest and greatest thing, and now we're kind of like going back to our roots a little bit.
I feel like it's like that with a trend in any industry though, right?
Yeah, like fashion.
Yeah, exactly. You're starting to see the clogs come back and all the things come back, like Uggs and stuff. We were talking about that this morning.
Yes.
And it's like, I think it's just a way of like, oh, this is a trend, I'm gonna jump on it because I know people will buy it.
Yes.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
Kaiser for me is kind of interesting. I
Yeah.
literally
It's
have
super
only
cool.
handled the original 2. I've heard really good things about the Militaw.
Oh yeah, here, I'll
the
let you
drop
check this
bear
one
as
out.
well.
This is one of the more, in my opinion, it's modern, but it almost looks a bit traditional, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't know how that makes sense.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I kind of like the opening here on their version of
like
like a
the
Spidey
triangle.
hole. Yeah. And yeah, I can see why. I mean, I'm a big fan of frame locks, and I'm also a big fan of front flippers.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite deployment methods. And this
Okay.
one actually
really good,
is
huh?
really good. So
Yeah, it's a great
if
knife.
I had to pick something up right now,
You're eyeballing this one?
yeah, honestly,
Okay.
this Militaw is kind of nice.
All right. Hey, good to know. We'll add it to the list.
Okay.
We like that. I actually want to talk CRKT with you now.
Oh, I love CRKT.
Right? So
Yes,
something
yes.
with them that is super notable is they get any designer you could probably imagine working for
100%.
them and designing knives for them.
Yep.
It just lends a hand to the community aspect of their company. I mean, they are also kind of deeply rooted in tradition as well. They have a lot of old models like the home front, the M16, stuff like that, where they're still making it today and they're just making it more modern. What do you think of CRKT and how they incorporate so many different people into their brand?
I love it. They have a sweet spot for me because one of the first knives that I had gotten as well, once I started learning a little bit more about makers, was actually a Burnley squid.
Oh.
The Burnley squid was the first time that I really learned about a knife maker. I took interest in Lucas Burnley early on, and once I learned a little bit about his story and how he kind of blends some of the Japanese style into his folders and into some of his fixed blades, I just kind of became obsessed with it. He's another reason why I'm in the custom knife world now. I have luckily owned 3 custom Burnleys, and for me, it's just like super cool to have known that I started here, and now I have some of his like handmade stuff.
That is very cool.
But I'm a big fan of CRKT because of what you said. They work with a ton of legends. Ken Onion. I recently had the honor of checking out the Michael Walker Pursue up there.
Yeah, this thing is
and
crazy.
that was a
Beautiful
knife
knife.
that I wanted to share its story. And just the fact that this man created a lock that we now see on literally millions of knives.
Isn't it wild?
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is really cool.
And for CRKT to partner up with these guys and design knives that are in so many different price ranges.
Oh, it's
So you
awesome.
can get yourself a really nice Lucas Burnley design for what, $53?
Yeah.
Or you can get yourself something from Michael Walker, which he makes like show art pieces that are like tens of thousands of dollars.
Crazy stuff.
But you can get one of his designs for what,
Like,
$285?
just under 300.
Yeah, which is just really cool to me. So
It is
big
cool.
CRKT fan.
So now we've kind of explored these brands. We've seen tons of different styles of knives, different makers. Now your own personal style and taste. Do you modify your knives? Do you tend to buy them and swap scales and hardware? What do you
Not
kind
at
of
all.
do?
No,
Okay.
I'm not into modifying them at all. For me, like typically if I'm spending my money on a knife, I find something that I like and I just buy that.
Yeah.
But funny you should mention modifying because you guys technically have modified a lot of things with donuts and sprinkles.
It's true.
And there's somebody in my life who loves all the Dessert Warrior stuff, and that's my wife Lexi. So I know we're
I love
shopping for
that.
me, but maybe we take a little detour and shop for her because it'd be
Okay.
so fun to come back home with a little present for her.
I love that. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right, Ricky, we're over here with the Dessert Warriors now. As you said, Lexi loves these. Which ones does she already have? Remind me.
She only has the OG Kalashnikov.
Oh, that's pretty
It's
cool.
actually, it was my knife. Don't tell her, but it was my knife, and then I
She's
gifted it
gonna
to her.
find out now.
Well, she'll be fine because she's getting a new knife.
That's fair. You're right.
But yeah, so she has the Kalashnikov.
Okay.
We have a Wiener Warrior. We have the Kalashnikov.
Oh, good. All
So
the
she's
foods.
very much about her food-themed knives. But I wanted to ask you a question.
Interesting. Yeah.
Because since I've only ever bought her since she only ever has gotten the Kalashnikov,
Right.
what do you think would be a good addition to her collection? She
I
also
love
has
this.
a Benchmade Osborne, by the way, that
She
Benchmade
loves
gifted
that
us.
one.
So she's a little bouge too, just
Oh my
letting you know.
God. Well, we're talking bougie and we're talking Dessert Warrior, Ricky. I don't know if those two things meet in the middle, but we can certainly try.
We can try.
So, you're from North Carolina. Are autos legal?
Yeah, autos are
Okay,
fine.
great. I would honestly say this one up first, right?
Okay.
Launch 4.
Okay, this is cute. She'd
Thing is
love the
sick.
size of this.
So the Kershaw Launch 4,
Oh,
Super
that's
small.
adorable. Okay.
Honestly, for women, it's small enough of an auto to just keep in a purse or a pocket.
Not bad.
Can't
not
complain
bad.
with that one. I love the Elementum. It's the one that I have personally.
Classic.
I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah,
I'll
and it's a
trade you.
button lock. She doesn't have a button lock knife yet,
Yeah.
I don't think.
And I don't know how comfortable she is with knives, but that one's super easy to use.
She's getting there. She's getting there. Like her
Which I
collection is
appreciate.
growing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very
but
cool.
you know what? You can't go wrong with an Elementum. It
Yeah.
is an absolute classic, and it's a button lock, so
Yeah.
it's actually super easy to deploy, which
Right.
is nice.
And it was
and
one of the
disengage.
first ever Desert Warriors we did, so it kind of
Yeah.
cool that it's still around.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna take a quick detour.
What?
That's pretty
Oh my
sick.
god. $360
Am I getting
of
a knife
course.
for myself now?
Ricky, this is insanity.
This thing is so rad.
It
Look at
is cool.
I mean, come on now. Like the size of this knife is crazy.
It's on sale.
No way.
$360.
Oh my gosh. Maybe this is it.
Yeah, it's a
Okay,
great-
let's get back on track. Otherwise, Lexi's not gonna get a knife and I am
Yeah,
again.
or you're just gonna buy it and gift it to her later, because that seems
You
to
know
be what you
what?
do.
I'll tell you something though. I'll hand you this.
Thanks.
This caught my eye immediately.
Ah,
This little Desert Warrior bug out.
Yeah, that's sweet.
And I think this would be a good addition because she has a 940 in denim.
hey, if she likes the bug out or the bench maze, I guess.
Yeah.
it's
So
a
this
good
might
add.
be kind of fun, and I like these scales a lot.
Yeah,
So
they're really cool. They're
Okay,
Flightanium
okay.
scales.
what a tough choice. Oh my gosh, I also see a dem cut.
All right,
in
Ricky,
there.
you like too many
Oh
of
my
these.
goodness. Okay, let's do this. I'll hand this one back to you.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and we'll decide towards the end of the video,
Yeah.
bug out or launch 4.
Okay. Big fan.
But there's also
of
a
both.
Demco in there, and that's kind of cool. So who knows? Maybe I'll get us matching Desert Warrior knives.
Well, Ricky, we've shopped for Lexi,
Yep.
and now I can only think of one cabinet in this entire building that's fit for a taste like yours.
I thought you learned from the pawn shop that.
Yeah,
this-
no, trust me. I knew the entire video we were gonna end up here, and that's totally fine.
Okay.
This is kind of our higher end, price-wise and material-wise cabinet.
Okay.
Is there anything in here that you want to check out?
All of it. No, I mean honestly. Okay.
I don't
so
even have to guess on this one.
yeah, at Blade Show, Utah, I had been hunting for a deadlock for I don't know, maybe 2.5 years or so
Wow.
since I saw it in John Wick.
Amazing.
And thanks to Gavin's generosity and me saving up, I was able to get one. Now, he had sent me a Talon for me to like make a video on a while back, and I was like, I don't know, it's just not my thing. Like, I don't know if I'm in love with it. And now I've handled
you
so
crazy.
many, and I'm like, oh, I kind of want it now. Like, I feel like I need it because
Yeah.
my deadlock is lonely. You
Okay,
know, it
well,
needs a Talon.
fair.
And this happens to be a Blade HQ exclusive
Yes.
Talon. Words are hard
Blade
sometimes.
exclusive.
Yeah, Blade HQ. This is what 12 hundo.
Yeah.
So hear me out. We split it, and then we
Oh,
ship
we
it
could
back
share
and
it.
forth. Yeah. I want to check out that Mojave
All right.
by Machine Wise.
Give me a minute.
You got this. You can do it. I believe in you.
Oh, I didn't ruin
Man,
anything
that was like
this
a
time.
spy mission. You did
Yeah.
so well.
This thing's sweet. I've actually never seen this knife.
Yeah, this thing is pretty rad. I think they debuted these at Blade West.
Okay, so
I
they're a little
think.
newer.
I'm not sure. I've heard of Machine Wise because of their Bella songs and the Sonora.
Right.
This Mojave is pretty sweet.
It's very interesting design.
Super thin
Yeah.
for how much like real estate you get. And it just kind of spoke to me. There's something about this design that just kind of
It is cool.
catches my eye, and I think that's something Machine Wise does so well.
Yeah.
Like they blend utilitarian
Mm-hmm.
with some of that like kind of beautiful looking aesthetic.
Right. Well, we have the beautifully milled titanium front scale with
Yeah.
like, I don't know if it's an anodization, it must be, but it's like that ombre anodization. It looks really neat. I
Yeah,
like
so
it.
this thing caught my eye, and if I
Okay.
were to go for one more thing in here,
Do tell.
you know, it's gonna be a little bit of a funny one.
What?
The Koenig Mini Goblin.
Really? This
So
guy.
a few years ago, I went down the Koenig
Just
rabbit
a casual
hole.
$735.
Well, you know, I started with my Arius. This was back when the Arius was
That's a
so
great knife.
hard to get.
Yeah, that one's cool.
And then a buddy of mine sold me a Mini Goblin.
Okay.
And I moved it along because my taste was growing.
Oh, I
So I had
gotcha.
to kind of trade and sell knives.
All right.
But looking at it here, I'm like, I kind of miss this one.
It is a very distinct design. And
Yeah.
I think that's why it stands out.
Well, and this is a new thing. I don't remember mine having this like really cool kind of machined
It
backspacer.
is cool.
So, yeah, these kind of caught my eye.
Beautiful. Any three of these are fantastic options. I would honestly take a random grab at any of these in the cabinet, to be honest.
Yep.
But I want to know, being in the industry and working in the industry, has it ruined the hobby for you? Has it ruined knife collecting at all?
It hasn't ruined knife collecting or knife collecting.
Stop.
No, not. I mean, it's a give and take, right? Like, I don't consider myself a knife reviewer like some of our friends, like Metal Complex and Nick Shabazz and all these other guys. I consider myself a little bit more of a storyteller with some like sprinkles of knife reviewing.
Yeah.
I will say that at times it kind of does mess with things a little bit, only because the knives that I get, sometimes I get caught up in my own head of like the excitement and me wanting to show them off. And you know, if I'm working with brands, there is a kind of not obligation, but like there's an expectation that I will be talking about this and showing it off.
Right.
So at times that can kind of like mess with the excitement, because I know I kind of have to do work first before I get to like sit down and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it's never gotten to the point where like I don't enjoy the hobby and I don't enjoy doing the work.
Okay, fair enough.
But there's a little sprinkle of that here and there.
Very
You know, I think it kind of happens similar to maybe with you here at HQ. Like sometimes it's work first and then you get to enjoy the thing after.
You know, it's a lot, and you're constantly just learning product and learning specs, and obviously it's different on our side of things, but I can totally sympathize. Like, it can get to you, but then it's also super cool because the next new thing comes out and it almost just refreshes that interest and love for it.
But that's why I've taken a stance on like really wanting to get to know the brands and the makers, because if that's for me, that's the way to kind of balance the, oh my God, there's a new knife and there's a new knife. So if there's something new out there and it doesn't catch my eye, once I get to know the brand of the maker, then maybe that changes my perspective. I'm like, oh, you know what? That is a pretty cool thing. The Talon is a perfect example. I handled it. I was like, oh, I don't think it's for me. Got to know Gavin. We did a video together. I got a deadlock. And now I'm like, man, you know what? I kind of do want one of those.
Sense.
Yeah. So.
Rikki, we've seen the whole store. You've seen a ton of knives. I think it's now time to walk around and see what you're going to take home.
There's a lot to look around still. Like, there's so much in here. It's decision overload, but
I know,
we will make some hard choices. I'll do my best, okay?
All right, Rikki, it seems like you're kind of eyeballing one of these SBRs down here.
You know what? I am, just because I've never owned one.
Okay.
And I'm really interested by Les George's story.
Yeah.
I've been doing a little bit of research for a future YouTube video, and I figured if I'm gonna get one, I might as well get one here.
All right, I
So,
love it. Those
I'm
two
thinking
great
SBR.
choices. Do you want micarta or the aluminum? Or sorry, the black aluminum.
I'm gonna go with micarta, just because the story behind each unique pattern was
One of a
really cool.
kind.
Yeah. So I'll do that for me.
Okay.
And I think I'm gonna do
Lexi?
that bug out for Lexi.
All right.
She'll be super pumped on that.
I love it. Two great choices. I'll go get those for you.
Let's do it.
All right, Rikki, I'm gonna bag this up for you. And
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
throw in a Frigo Giro because I love you.
No way. Little old me.
Yeah.
Just because of me, you're the
Oh my
best.
God, you're so deserving.
Thank you, thank you. Hey, can I have some of this candy here?
Sure.
All right, cool. I might as well just. I just need a few. I'm traveling.
Hey.
Thanks, Sarah. This was
Oh
a
my
fun
God.
time.
This was a good time.
You'll be getting more of my money very soon because there's a lot of good stuff here.
Good, I hope so. And you know what? I hope the rest of you who tagged along with us think the same way, because if you are local, please come down to the Pleasant Grove, Utah location for Blade HQ. We have so much cool stuff for you to check out. And Rikki, thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this, and we will see you guys on the next one.